Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. I'm Nita back it again. So today we will discussions about the topic of the system developments. Before we move to another part, we need to know the definition first. So what is the system development? For the system development, it refers to a structures process used to create or improve an information system according to the need of an organization. And also it includes the planning, analyzing, problem, designing solution, implementing the system, and maintaining it up to use it. The main purpose is to ensure that the system can support the business activities and effectively and efficiently. Besides we know the definition, we should know about the objective of the system's development. For the objective system development, we also have the several parts, such as to improve the business efficiency and productivity, and to provide accurate and timely information to decision making, to reduce operational error and unnecessary costs, and also better communication and coordination within the organization, and support the organizational growth and the business competitiveness. So this is the several part about the system development. So we will move to the next part that we talk about the system development. For this part, we're gonna talk about why the system developed it matter. As everyone knows, in today data-driven economy, it will build the information system are not just the technical asset, but also they are the strategy business enabled. Poor system development can lead to cost overruns, fail the project, and cause the competitive ground. And this we also mention some parts that have four parts, such as the cost efficiency. For the cost efficiency, it mentions the structure development, reduce rework, minimize budget overrun, and minimize return on IT investments. And second, it's about the operational agility. It refers to the well-designed system adapt quickly to market change, giving the organization a decisive speed advantage. And three, it's about the reduction. For this, the formal processes identify vulnerability, the early or using security branches and compliance that are failures before they escalate. And last, it's about the strategy alignment. For the strategy alignment, it's to focus about the system built with the business goal in mind, deliver measurable value directly tied to organizational objective. So this there mentions why effective system development is better. So we have four parts: the cost efficiency, operational agility, risk reduction, and strategy alignment. So we will move to another part. For this part, we will talk about the system development lifecycle, or represent of the SDLC. Normally, the system development lifecycle, or we call SDLC, is the foundational framework that guide the information system from initial concepts through the long-term operations. But also it provides a disciplined structure roadmap, ensuring the quality and accountability and alignment at every stage. So we have the 5 steps in here. The first is the planning, second is the analyzing, third is design, four is the implementation, and 5 is about the deployment. For the planning, in here we just define the scope and goals, analyzing the gather requirement and needs, and design the architect solution and prototypes. And for is the implementation, it refers to the develop, integrate, and test, and the deployment is release and maintain the system. For an expert, it build on the previous one, creative logical progressions that reduce, improve the communication between the stakeholder, and ensure the final system with both the technical specification and real world business need. So the next part we're gonna talk about the planning. That is the first stage. For the planning and we call it feasibility for the laying the foundations. Before a single line of the planning, it's about the code of variance planning defined that the project purpose, scope, and visibility. This first is separate successful project from the costly failure, and we also mention the key activity and feasibility dimension. And key activity in here we discuss about the define the project scope and business objective, and identify the stakeholder and decision makers, and conduct cost benefit and risk analysis, and the last is establish timelines and review requirements. So this is about the key activity about the planning and feasibility. For about the feasibility dimension, we have 4 part dimensions. For the first, it's about technical. For this, it's about can we build it when available technology. This is the questions that we all always ask. And economic, it's about the does the ROI justify the investment. Operational, it's about will the organization adapt it effectively or efficiently. And the last is about legal. This is complete with the regulations. So this is about the feasibility dimension that mentions. So we move to the next part. It's about the analysis and requirement that in the second stage, as I already mentioned. For this requirement, it's always analysis is the arguably the most critical part of the system development life cycle, such as the misunderstood requirement are leading cause of the system failure, and this first it ensure all the developer build the right system, not just a system. So again, this first it ensure developer build the right system and not just a system. For this, we have 4 stages. The first is stakeholder interview workshop. In this case, direct engagement with end user and business owner, uncover real workflow, needs, pain points, and hidden constraints that documentation alone cannot reveal. Second, it's about the non-functional requirement. For second stage, it's about the capture, performance, benchmark, security standard, and scalability, target, and usability expectation that define how well the system must perform. And fifth stage, it's about the functional requirement. For this, it mentioned that define what the system must do, specify the feature, data input, output, processing logic, and user interaction that the system must support. And fourth stage, the last part, is about requirement documentation. For the, it focuses on a sign of the software requirement specifications, or we call as AS, that the documentation it becomes the document it becomes the contract between the business and development team and preventing scope creep. So for the analysis of requirement for the stage 2 or the phase 2, we have the 4 stage mentioned, such as the stakeholder interview workshop, non-functional requirement, non-functional requirement, functional requirements, and requirement documentations. So we move to the next part. For this part of stage 3, we gonna talk about the architecture of solution. For this, it designed the transfer requirements into a detailed technical blueprint, or the decision made here determine the system long-term scalability, security, and maintainability. We have 3 parts we will describe. For the first, system architecture. For the high level design, define infrastructural layer, such as the client server, database, and how the components communicate Try like the microservice, which is the monolithic architecture, have the lasting impact. And second is about the database design, also mentioned in here. It's about the entity relationship modeling normalizations and indexing strategy ensure that the data integrity, efficiency, retrievals, and scalability as the data volume grow over time. And last is about the UI UX designs. It's the interface wireframes and prototype ensure that the system is user-friendly. Early usability testing at the step prevent expensive redesign post-launch. So this is about the architecture, the solution that we discussed. There are 3 types, so we move to the next part. This part we're gonna talk about the implementation that bringing into life. For the implementation, it converts design specification into working software. Testing in non-negotiable. It validates quality, security, and performance before the system reach real users. Here we have the develop best practice. For the develop best practice, we have 4 parts that we will mention. For the first is follow coding standard and version control. Conduct a regular piece code review. Use the continuous integration pipelines. Document code thoroughly for the maintainability. Number 2, we will mention about the testing layer. For the testing layer, we have the unit testing, integration testing, user acceptance testing, or we call UAT, or performance testing. For the unit testing, it validates individual component in the installations. Integration testing, it verify model interact correctly, and user acceptance testing, it about to confirm real world fits, and the last is the perform testing, it about strictest under the expected load. For this, we also said that quality gate its no system should proceed the deployment without the passing or define tasks, because of ephemerals sign out the process into accountability and protect the organization from the preventable failure. So the testing typically uncover 85% of the critical defect before go live with the all testing first or the complete. So the next part we're gonna talk about the deployment and maintenance or sustaining value. For this case, deployment marks the system transition into the production, but the work doesn't stop there. Ongoing maintenance ensures that the system continues with the delivering value as the business evolves, such as the develop strategy. For the develop strategy, choose the between rollout, parallel running, or direct order based on the rate tolerant uses red nearness and system complexity. Second, it uses the training. For this, it comprehensive on the borrowing and training program with my user and adoption and review resistant. Directly it impacts system AOI. And the last is about the going maintain. For this, it correctly adaptive and perfective maintain keep system secure, compliant, and aligned with the changing business requirements. So this is about the deployment and maintenance sustainability value. So the next we're gonna talk about the Agile variable choosing the right methodology. For this, knowing goals methodology fit every project. Understanding the strength and the threat of the Agile and variable is essential for the making the right strategy choice based on the project complexity and organization culture. This for the variables are the sequentials. The first is fit requirement, and then planning, and then redesign, development, and testing, and deployment, as I already explained. And this is about the interactive. We have the sprint one will be referred to parts such as the story point and the stand up. And this sprint 2 will be delivered. No, sprint 2 It will be planned, code testing and review, and also go to the product backlogs, and product backlog will be to deliver. And sprint 1 it will be planned, code testing will be go to delivery also. So this is about the iterative sprint involve the requirement continuous delivery before the Dynamite project. So this is the last part. It's about the key takeaway for this. Successful system develop is not the action at all, but it is the result of the discipline processes, stakeholder collaboration, and continuous learning. Apply this principle to every project. For the first, it aligns with the business goal. Every development decision should track back to the measurable business objective, because the system built is solution from the service really deliver lasting value. Number 2 is about the prioritize quality guards. For this, never skip testing process under the schedule pressure. The fake farm post deployment costs 5 minus tons or more to fit than cost caught during the development. For the second is about the engage stakeholder early. For the frequent communication with the user and decision maker throughout all the process prevent costly later stage supplier and build organization buy-in. And the last is about the impress continue improvement. For this, conduct post implementations like a review after every product, capture lessons learn and feed insight back into your development process to improve future outcome. So this is about the key takeaway that always apply the principle to every project. So this is all from me about that we conducted about the system development information system. So thanks for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.